This man killed a young woman and he hid her body for a decade. Listen to the judge's harsh words before he locked him up.
You were 36 or 35 on the date of offense. You preyed upon a woman half your age whom you could have been the father to. You knew she was a heroin addict. You knew she wanted heroin. You gave her heroin. You used her body in a vile way. You put your hands around her neck and you rendered her unconscious. You watched her continue to be unconscious as she lay there in your car, and she continued to be unconscious and she wasn't reviving, and yet you still didn't do a thing to call emergency services. You could have easily called 911. You could have driven her to the emergency room, but instead you sat there next to a fellow human being and you watched her die because of your actions. You then aggravated the situation even more by driving her body to your parents' house, where you must have spent hours upon hours digging a hole in the ground and placing her body in numerous plastic bags, putting her in there, putting dirt on her, putting more dirt on her, putting more dirt on her, which must have, again, taken hours of hiding the evidence of your crime. You thought you would get away with it, and yet you're contacted by law enforcement less than a year later. As Ms. Baroni pointed out, you had the opportunity right then to explain what you say happened in that car, and yet you didn't. And you had another follow-up opportunity where you didn't. You had to know the immense pain that you caused the family. Nothing worse than seeing a child predecease you. Nothing worse than not knowing where your child is, not just for a couple of hours or days, but for a decade. And so for a decade, you held your secret to yourself while this family and their network of friends and associates suffered and suffered and suffered. The case was broken open when police reached out again to your ex-wife, who then described her conversation with you, which finally, thankfully, too late, led to the discovery of Ms. Nichols' body. She described for the jury how around this time you were in the throes yourself of a methamphetamine addiction and a crack addiction and were using heroin. The jury heard all of that. She described for this jury, and who knows how many people watching, the intimate behavior that she engaged in with you, evidence that would normally be prohibited and shielded by the Rape Shield statute. Finally, she told police and testified to the fact that you told your father after the police had contacted them that you had killed Kara Nichols. The court does find that the 24-year sentence that is required by statute is the appropriate sentence.